Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of In Between the Limes. Today, we are going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. I am joined by two guests, Mr. Dylan and Mr. Tyler. Say hello.
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 And today, we are going to discuss the news about the Switch 2. We're going to talk about some games about it. We're going to talk about our opinions on it and whatnot. And just in general information about the Switch 2's release coming this year. So to start, I wanted to gauge everyone's initial reactions. Let's start with Dylan. What do you think about the Switch 2 reveal?
Well, I think it's a pretty expected upgrade to the Switch, pretty much boosting on the hardware. I know traditionally Nintendo's not really, they're not really going for like absolute graphics power. So right now, I think the hardware is like a PS4, but that's because it's portable, so I get that. But the one I think noticeable feature I saw during that whole presentation, or at least one of them, was like the mouse gimmick. I remember a lot of people were yapping about that.
Mm-hmm.
You plug it in like that, and you can use. Oh yeah, actually, the biggest improvement easily is fixing the backstand, but that's a given.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, you saw there was like the charger port on top too. I know you
Mhm.
mentioned that you liked that when we both saw it.
Yep. So
Um,
now that justifies the price tag and the upgrade, in my opinion.
yeah, for sure. Tyler, what did you think about the initial reveal?
I thought the initial reveal was pretty good. I am happy that we've got some sort of fix for the Joy Cons through the magnetic grip. I just hope they actually hold in place. I mean, granted, I do think that Nintendo's got a lot of outreach for an audience, but I am worried that if a kid drops this thing, I think that shit's just gonna go flying everywhere if the magnets aren't good. So hopefully they find a good balance there. I'm a big fan of the color scheme they're using. The black with the red and blue accents is a good choice. I do kind of wish they colored the buttons on both sides to give it a little more of a pop, but I do like what I'm seeing so far. As for the hardware and everything, I'm gonna have to see a little more about that once it releases. I think it's kind of hard to gauge how well it's gonna do just looking at stats alone. I think sometimes you need to play the games themselves, and I do think that Nintendo games have never been quite as intensive as other games. So I guess we'll have to see how that works. But
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, speaking of hardware, which you both mentioned pretty much, I do have the specs written down here. We have a 14% bigger screen and bigger Joy-Cons than the
Yeah.
original Switch. Uh, the screen, I've seen this online a little bit that people are complaining about this, but the screen is an LCD screen still. It's not an OLED screen. I know the original Switch had a special edition kind of, or like a different model that had an OLED screen. So pretty much just makes like, as far as I'm aware, it makes the colors just pop more and like visually it looks better. Uh, the processor in this Switch 2 is a NVIDIA custom Tegra T239 or T239. I don't know. So that's so far that's leaked. It's not even like confirmed 100%, but I think people are pretty sure that's what it is. And as Dylan said before, it's kind of like a
PS
halfway point
Pro
between
actually.
a PS4 and the PS4 Pro is what I understand. Like it's like between those two.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's going to be like? Do you think that's a good stepping point for the Switch, or do you think that it's just kind of outdated still, or like? I mean, it is a portable handheld, so you can't expect it to be like crazy powerful. But I don't know. I was wondering if maybe they could add something to the dock itself, to
Oh yeah.
increase maybe the strength of the Switch. I don't know how they could have done that. It would have to make the dock a little bit more like because like right now I feel like the dock is more just like a port for the Switch to like convert what you see on the screen to like a TV screen. It's kind of just like a somewhere for the HDMI cable to plug in.
It is just an HDMI cable, but there's also the factor of like it runs better once it's hooked up.
Yeah, like it has more
yeah, I
power
thought I
too.
saw I thought I saw that it was running better, but that doesn't necessarily mean more powerful, does it?
I still think there's a difference, right, between dock and undock. Until I mean, that's always going to be the case, but
Mm-hmm.
like what were the did you mention the improvements at all?
You mean
Like
just like to what specifically?
power and performance, like undocked.
So, um, I don't think it's like it's a lot of speculation because we don't actually know
Oh
exactly.
yeah, I mean we did just see like a teaser. There's not a ton of information out.
There's like leaks that talk about the power of it. From what I understand, it's just gonna still be like a 1080p kind of area. I did see that because when it's in handheld, it's obviously a lower resolution. I think it's like I think 720p. I would have to double check that, but I heard
I think
that
it
they
is
might.
720. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they might have a system to actually upscale when you dock it to go to 4K, but that seems like a stretch to me. I feel like that's not
4K?
really something Nintendo would do, but I
No,
have
no.
seen stuff
Yeah.
online about that.
I will say,
Yeah.
uh, I think Nintendo's in a comfortable position to not be in the graphics rat race because their games were never really about like pushing for hyper realism. Look at the realism in Mario's mustache and shit. I mean, people were going crazy about like just the minor touches to like in attention to detail in Odyssey. Just like holy shit, I can notice little bits of hair in Mario's mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but like that was what the major companies like Xbox and PS4 were doing back in like 2014. Just now, Nintendo's finally catching up, and it's more just the fact that they're kind of doing it at their own pace and more focusing on just the weird little quirks in gameplay and memory space that the Switch allows for. The whole point of the Switch is just pretty much to be bridge the gap between a portable game and a mainline console. It's so instead of having a DS and like just a normal console, you just have one you can develop games.
Yeah. What do you
The
think,
games they've
Tyler?
made.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah,
go on.
but I would say that but they already did that once. So I think you got to ask with this one, what are you going to do different this time? Now, I don't think they need to necessarily do 4K graphics because, like you said, the games aren't built for that. Like if you saw fucking like Pokemon like crusty ass trees at 4K, nobody's gonna be impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
I do think there's a good middle ground there. You know, I think some substantial improvements, like I don't know, 2K or something, while docked. I think that would be a nice welcome change.
I think 1080p should at least like they should just get to like the new acceptable standards, and I think that should be the goal. Where that's what I'm wondering if like the only place we can take the Switch concept is just like improving it like an iPhone, where we just make the resolution better, make the battery life better, make the audio better, like just
Yeah.
incremental improvements like that. There's not going to be any like huge game changing features. I feel
You know,
maybe little quirks like the mouse thing we saw that does feel
yeah.
like a Nintendo type of thing where they always do kind of weird crap like that. And Labo's a great example too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Um, I actually have seen online people say like make jokes about it, but I actually could see this sometime in the future that people are like, "Oh, the next step for the Switch is to become a phone." Like there's that's what they're going for. Like
Nintendo phone
the
plan.
Nintendo phone. People were just
Nobody's
No,
gonna
joking.
be
but that's a
carrying around
different
that thing
market.
in their
They're just
fucking pocket.
A fucking phone that turns into just a gaming console. So
that would not. I don't get that. They're muscling into Verizon, AT&T's turf. What's going on with that?
it's
No, you
it's
couldn't
just
do
because
it. You
like
couldn't do it.
they try and like advertise the Switch, I feel like, to be less like hardcore gaming, more like casual, like here's like a device that can do all these things. Like now they have the Nintendo Music app. They have like their own online system on the app on the phone. Like they have all these like specific, like they don't want to be like everyone else, and they always try and make it more like lifestyle oriented, I feel like, where you can take it wherever you go, and whenever you have free time you can just pick it up and play it instead of like sit down and play for hours kind of stuff.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with phones? Like, what does convenience and ease of
I think he
use
meant like
translate to
just
that?
because it was more of a casual and accessible audience. But I would argue, I don't think that's the direction they're going. The Switch 2 has, what do you say, 14% bigger Joy Cons.
Yeah.
I think there's a good. I think they're hitting a good happy medium where it's more comfortable for the general consumer, but maybe
Oh yeah,
maybe
bigger
Mhm.
not
Joy
as maybe
Cons
not
is
as general as a
huge.
phone. But
Yeah, no.
yeah, I mean, those old Joy Cons. I mean, if you had to play sideways for a game, your hands would cramp up so fast. I think a slightly bigger Joy-Con is going to make a big difference.
Mhm.
Now,
Although,
Tyler, I hate to be
Yes.
that guy, but we have to remind ourselves that the Switch is not meant entirely for adults, and adult hands weren't initially considered with its design. In other words,
maybe, but I don't think 14% is so big that it's going to be like. I can't see it being like too big for a kid's hands to like reach around. You know.
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think it will be either. I mean,
Yeah,
now
It
I
it's
won't
think
be.
this
I'm
is a
not
good
saying the
middle ground.
improvement will be excluding anybody.
I think
I'm
it's
saying
more
it's
in
welcome.
line with normal controllers. That's the thing. I feel like it kind of
Yeah.
scales up to what a normal controller for like an Xbox or PlayStation feels like to
It
hold.
is pretty funny having to play with one Joy-Con. I do see the problem.
Oof,
I do
yeah.
agree it's an improvement.
If you lose the little like slide on things that go on the top of it, you can't even like
Oh
use the
God.
LR
Oh,
buttons at
hey,
all. It's like
Those triggers are
impossible.
not good.
what do you
Yeah.
think of the removing the sliding function? Now it's just clip in. Do you think that's going to break off easy? Do you anticipate that being a problem?
So if you look at the Switch, there's actually two buttons on the back of the Switch 2 that unhook it. So once its magnets like connect in, it actually hooks into the Switch and you can't pull it out. It can't fall out either. It's not like
You
it's
could
just holding on by magnets. It actually locks in when you click it
you
in.
could still bend it, I'm sure though.
Well, you could bend the regular Switch. It's plastic. It's not gonna like,
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean it won't fly out? Well,
it
yeah,
can't
but
fall off by dropping it or like unless you
I was gonna
snapped
say
the lock somehow.
it's not necessarily a good thing. I dropped my Switch One, the first Switch I had on like I don't know day two. Wait, no, I not me. My grandma dropped it, and that broke the ZL button on it because the Joy-Con didn't fall
blaming the
out.
grandma,
Maybe the
playing
Joy-Cons
that
falling
card.
out might have been. Maybe the Joy-Cons falling out would be a good thing.
In general speaking though, like Nintendo knows that their consoles are being used widely by children, so they make them to like
That's their
take a
target.
hit. Like
I think that's
they're
what we
designing
realized.
it around the idea a kid is holding it and using it. So
Exactly.
even with the like I forget, I don't remember what it's called, but the little like thing sticking out of the where the Joy-Cons go, the little like chip part that connects to the
Yeah.
Joy-Con, even that it looks like it could snap off, but honestly I bet once we get it and you like really like mess around with it and like I don't know, just like use your Switch a lot, you'll kind of notice that it doesn't really like there isn't an easy way to break it. It's kind of like tucked away inside of the Switch a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be an issue. But
I, I
let's
think
just
they're
circle
doing a
back
good job.
to the rest of the hardware specs real quick. So Switch 1 had 2 terabytes of storage. From the research I did, I hope this is accurate.
Terabytes?
2 terabytes of storage. Switch 2 is rumored to have 128 terabytes of storage. The Switch 1 had 12 gigabytes of RAM, and Switch 2 is rumored to have 256 gigabytes of RAM. And obviously, I said before, there's the USB-C port on the top for charging. And then the thing I'm most interested in personally, the Hall effect joysticks. So that's essentially the
David,
joysticks.
it said. Oh wait.
What's up?
Oh, I think it can have up to a terabyte. It can. I think it comes out with 64. Just gigs. That unimportant, but sorry. Go on.
So the Hall effect Joy-Cons or joysticks, they have like magnets, and the technology, I don't know exactly how it works, but it like kind of like glides along the magnet from what I understand instead of rubbing on something else, kind of like a normal joystick does. So from what I've been hearing, it pretty much ends any Joy-Con drift moving forward, which is great because I'm already on my third pair of Joy-Cons now, and I know people that are on their like 10th pair of Joy-Cons. So
Yeah.
Man, that's awful for Nintendo. They're gonna lose like a good chunk of profit from that.
well, I
No,
mean,
I honestly think it's the opposite. I think if Nintendo doesn't figure out how to make good functioning controllers this time around, people are not going to be willing to buy it.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah.
I mean, they were offering like free repairs if you send your Joy-Cons in, which is a pain in the ass, but like still,
True.
yeah,
True.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
honestly, it's
True.
kind of like gift cards. The reason they sell gift cards, they offer them because they know sometimes people won't get the full value out of them. They know not every person that breaks their Joy-Cons is going to be patient enough to send them in for repairs and wait to get them back. They
Yeah.
are probably just banking on people buying new ones some of the time. So hopefully they'll work better this time.
Yep. So what do you guys think about the branding of the Switch 2? So we had back in the day, we had the Wii very successful, very like one of the. I think it was the best-selling console of all time at that point. Maybe I don't know with PS2 nowadays. I hear it keeps swapping with Switch. Um, so the Wii transitioned to the next console, and it was the Wii U, and that was a commercial flop. Like I think it was like 11 million sold or something compared to like the 115 or something million for the Wii. Um, do you think this Switch 2 might run into this issue where people just think, oh, it's just the Switch, I don't see a point to buying it? Or they think it's just like, I mean, I don't see it really being looked at like the Wii U as like an add-on, because the Wii U was, some people thought it was like just an add-on to the regular Wii because of the name. Whereas the Switch 2 does feel like a, traditional sequel. I mean, there's PlayStation to PlayStation 2, and that really makes you think it's a new thing, but like I don't know if it'll be enough of a switch to deter people or get people to buy it over just having the regular one that they already have. So what do you
Well,
guys think about like how that works?
I mean, they're gonna develop games for Switch 2 going forward, right?
Of course, yeah.
Well, there you go. That's the main reason I think people are coming over to the Switch in the first place is Nintendo games specifically. I mean, there isn't really console wars these days as much as there was back then. Nintendo's kind of the only like independent tribe these days. Everything's kind of cross-compatible. PC, Xbox is kind of fading away a little bit, turning it into a Game Pass service thing. PlayStation is doing their thing, honestly. It's not as like tense as it was before, where like they had exclusives, where Xbox had their own batch of games, PlayStation had their own batch of games. Nowadays, most PlayStation like exclusives end up coming to the PC eventually, and most Xbox games just are on the PC launch. Nintendo games are on Nintendo consoles forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can only play. So I think it really depends on what they're coming out with the Switch 2. What did the Wii U launch with, for example?
Mario Kart, I think. I'm
Did it
pretty
have
sure.
Mario
Breath of the
Kart was the
Wild too?
best-selling.
I'm
No,
trying to
Switch
think.
existed when
Hold
Breath of the Wild came
on.
out.
So the Wii U, yeah, I don't think it was something that's like it had. I think it was Mario Kart. But so you're saying like the branding doesn't really matter, and that you think that the games themselves will just draw people in.
I think it really is going to depend on what Switch 2 launches with. If what do they got underneath their belt? Metroid Prime 2, our next mainline Mario, another Zelda. They need kind of like a Breath of the Wild or like an Odyssey, because those games were like right out of the gate with the Switch.
Yeah.
Smash too, like that was three games that were huge first party. Like Nintendo giving it their all, that got people to like say, okay, I gotta buy a Switch to at least try them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Smash wasn't a launch title. I do think that Switch had a
Like
stronger
first
lineup.
year though, wasn't it? Within the first year.
It might. I don't know if it
Might
was
have been.
first year, but definitely wasn't launch.
No,
Breath of
not
the
launch.
Wild was
I meant Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
So
were two
I'm looking
right
at
there.
some of the launch games for Wii U, and I mean, there's a bunch of random ones like Madden NFL,
Yeah.
Rabbids,
Zombie
Skylanders.
Just Dance 4.
That's what I mean. No first
So
four
no,
back
there was
No, there
so
were.
there was
Oh,
New
yeah,
Super Mario Bros. U. That was probably one of the bigger ones.
Okay, yeah, that.
Um,
Yeah, there you go.
And Nintendo Land, I know, was the first party, but obviously that's not gonna
It's
draw
not even-
crowds,
It's less than Mario Party, honestly.
I think
It's not
I
bad.
think it was fun for what it was. I don't know if it was what they needed to do at launch, but it was fun for what it was.
It's
and-
third party Mario Party of a like that was Mario Party is already kind of third party, and it was a third party event.
The game is called Nintendo Land, Dylan. How could that be more third party?
You're right. Shit, I take it back.
There was also Zombie U. I remember them talking about this game.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
This zombie game that was moving with
think it's on
used the
Steam,
gamepad a
actually.
lot. I think they did re-release it as just Zombie or something like that with like an
Yeah, now
eye at
it's
the end.
just Zombie.
So there was a couple games, but like I think the only one there that I would even like consider getting is probably New Super Mario Bros. U, and even then, that's just like the New Super
Honestly-
Mario Bros. Wii, the one on the
I'm
Wii.
not even crazy. A lot of those kind of blend together too. Like one title isn't that much different from the other.
I feel like they're pretty different. One's a platformer, one's like a party game.
Oh, I meant like New Super Mario Bros. Like the Wii one's not that different from the Switch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like It
Oh
just
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like an upgrade, kind of,
Sorry.
Um, but do you think that it still might be an issue for this whole thing might be an issue for like more casual players? Like, so the Switch 2 will draw, yeah, those like hardcore Nintendo players like me. I mean, I'll buy it and I'll play whatever games that come out, of course. But I feel like you have to really think about what like the average casual person like will do, because I know some people who literally bought a Switch just to play Animal Crossing. That's all they wanted to do. And then when they were done playing Animal Crossing, they just sold their Switch. So I'm kind of like thinking in terms of a consumer like that, how do you keep your audience or like get them to buy a Switch 2 if they're just gonna buy the Switch 1 and it can play most of the games that they would want, and it has the same functionality where it's just it's portable, you can take it anywhere.
Your example is kind of what I was talking about. Like people literally bought a Switch just to play a game. I think they need. I think the games are what's gonna bring people to the Switch. Nothing about the Switch 2 and its like design is really unique enough to like bring people in alone. Like it's not like it's not from the leap that GameCube to Wii was. Like oh well, it's an innovation like motion controls.
Yeah.
No, it's just like upgraded specs for like the developers to do a little bit more on their back end, and also the Switch to be a little easier to use, like better battery charge, fixed back end stand thing.
And this might sound like a weird comment, but I honestly think people are getting kind of tired of like innovative ways to play. Like when the
There's
Wii
only
launched,
so much you can reinvent the wheel by. You know what I mean?
and people get used to it. We had Wii Sports, and that was a huge launch title for the Wii because it was accessible to everyone. But people still have their Wii's; they still work, and people really don't care that much about motion controls. Like one of those Switch launch titles was One Two Switch. I don't know a single person that owns that game, and it was built
Mm-hmm.
around all these new motion functionalities that they had.
And the
Now they have
Labo
this new.
features too, used all of them.
What? I do know a couple people that buy Labo, but that falls more into that's not
That's
a
a niche
casual game. I
hobbyist
think
thing. That's more
there's
like a.
that there's a few people that find it fun, a few kids, a few of the more dedicated Switch people,
See, I'll
but
say this
not
about
the same
Nintendo.
casual audience. It's not they. And here's my worry is that if you have that new what did you call it, the ray tracing feature, the one that
What?
kind of lets you move it like a mouse.
I
Do they
just
I don't
have
know
call
if
it the
there's a
this?
name
mouse.
for it. I think it's just
Yeah,
called
just mouse.
whatever the
Yeah.
mouse feature is.
My biggest fear for that is I don't know if that's going to be a big draw for people anymore. I don't know if
That's
people really want to play games differently at this point. We're kind of used to controllers feeling good. I don't know if we really want different ways to play anymore.
I don't think you can really say that because I feel like you don't know what you would like. I mean, you can always innovate and find new ways to do things, and it'll always draw someone. I mean, the Switch itself is an innovation. It was taking up like a regular home console and just moving it into a handheld version. I mean, it's a smaller one, like than from like a GameCube to a Wii, where it's motion control. That's a pretty bigger leap, but I still think it was a big enough innovation to draw people in because it's like, oh, I could just take this wherever I go, and it's not like like a DS, which is a little like lower powered and just not as interesting, and I don't know, kind of an awkward thing for like your average person to bring with them. But like a Switch is different, and you can plug it into a dock at any TV too, and then you can just start playing games on like a hotel
Yeah,
TV or something.
you know what?
I do rescind that. I think that's a fair way, but I do want to make the distinction between like that being a great feature because that's kind of giving you a 2-for-1 deal where you could sell it as like a bargain because you don't need to buy as much stuff. You've got a console and you've got a handheld. That's a great save. But I think controller wise, I'm wondering if that's going to be a big enough draw because the Switch 2 is still riding on the coattails of the original Switch. The big sell is still this is a console that is also a handheld. And while a lot of these new features are nice, I do think I have to agree with Dylan a little here. I do think that the games are really going to make or break this system.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a more this sounds like a diss. It's not, but this is more of a side grade, like what the Wii U was to the Wii, like upgraded specs in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and like a little easier to handle because that big old tray at least was a controller that wasn't just a Wiimote.
Yeah, I was going to say, did the Wii U even have upgraded specs? It didn't feel
No,
very different.
no,
Actually,
it
it
fucking
was
did.
from the Wii.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. I think it was like I
The
should go
Wii
check
actually
it again.
was kind of underperforming at the time, I remember.
The Wii was actually like barely more powerful than the GameCube, but the Wii to the Wii
Yeah,
U
yeah.
was like a double in power or triple or
It
something.
caught up to like Xbox and PS4 at
It
the
was
time.
pretty good. I mean, for its time, it was decent, you know.
They could actually port games over from those, is what I mean.
Yeah.
With the Wii,
That's
no,
true.
no, like Wii games are kind of like an anomaly because it was like you said, it was barely an improvement from GameCube. They that's why like anytime you had to
Just
port over
power
a game,
wise,
it would
yeah.
look terrible. Yeah.
Mhm. And this does make me think of an interesting question. So when we got Breath of the Wild, and I'm not sure if this is because it was delayed or not, but we got Breath of the Wild on both the Wii U and the Switch. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there might be a few titles that are both released on the Switch and the Switch 2 with slight improvements. First thing that comes to my mind is the Pokemon ZA,
Well,
because that was announced before the Switch 2.
you gotta realize though, it's backwards compatible, so there's no reason to do
Yeah.
that because they can just release a game for Switch One and it can be played on Switch Two. So technically, no matter
Whereas-
what, it's always going to be for both consoles. Well,
they don't have to
it
make
can't
two
be
different
backwards.
versions.
Probably it can only be.
I guess
Or,
that's
I mean,
true.
yeah,
I guess I
like
didn't know if
Switch-
like the
if they're making
Switch
for Switch
2
One.
was substantially different enough that it needed to be like different versions. You're probably right that
Yeah.
it doesn't, but
No, I see
it's
what
an
you mean,
interesting
though.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is strange. Like Nintendo has traditionally tried to innovate like in weird ways. Yeah, now that I think about it, like the N64 to the GameCube, what kind of a jump was that besides just like fidelity and the controller being fixed?
Mm-hmm.
I guess convenience because you could pick up the thing too. They did try VR too with the Virtual Boy and even the 3DS. Like that was kind of a weird gimmick to do like 3D handheld.
ahead of its time.
Yeah.
The GameCube, I
Really?
feel like, was more of like kind of this situation where it was more of a power upgrade. I mean, it looks visually a lot different from the N64, but if you really look at it, it just kind of is a power upgrade. It's just a plug in, you put the kit discs in, and then you play. Like there isn't like a different gimmick. I feel like to a GameCube
Yeah, it's not
compared
like
to
motion
an
control.
N64.
It's not VR or like 3D.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like they kind of do this often, where they just have like the next model be an upgrade, and even though it looks visually different. I think the GameCube and the N64 probably look different more than any of the other ones that followed it. But I can't really think of anything like super innovative between those two, like between that in that jump there. I feel like that was just another example of a Nintendo just trying to power up their console.
Yeah, I think they're in a comfortable place. Honestly, they like being portable and being a home console. They want to like bridge that gap. I think the goal, or the direction internally, if I had to guess, is to just make the Switch equally powerful, handheld, and in the dock. That's the direction.
Yeah, I mean,
The only innovation to take.
for me personally, I'm honestly fine with that because it's like right now I like enjoyed how the Switch works. I feel like it's not too annoying. Like I feel like with the Wii, I mean it's fun, but like sometimes the motion controls can get kind of old and like annoying. Having to set
Yeah,
up the bar to like navigate the menus and whatnot. So I kind of am glad that they're kind of taking just like one I don't even know what to call it, but like iteration of a mainline console, like just taking a break just to power it up and add some like quality of life stuff and like fix issues that the original Switch had. It's kind of just a nice, I don't know, break, I guess. And it's kind of cool to see it be so much more powerful from the original.
It
And I
is
do think
funny to
that's a good
use.
move.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if we ever answered the initial question though, but like from a branding standpoint, is calling it the Switch 2 a good move? Do you guys think?
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like if it's just
You know, it is
Switch
funny.
2,
Have they
it
ever
feels
done a
like
2 before?
I don't think they have.
They've done the Super Nintendo.
There's
they've
like,
done
I don't really count the
Pro.
3DS because that was more banking off the 3D than the.
That's a holy shit!
I
I
don't know.
just realized that was a
You
pun.
did not
yeah.
just realize that.
No, I just because I forgot about the DSi for so long.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I thought you
Well-
were like, dude, they named it the 3DS
Yeah, like I'm
because it has
that's
3D.
why. That's why it's 3DS.
Not that anyone
too.
ever used it.
It,
I
they made the
literally just thought
2DS
3D
too.
pun.
There's the 2DS.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
immediately after realizing nobody liked the 3D.
They're like,
Well,
here,
to be
you
fair, that thing
don't
was
care?
also
That thing was
very.
weird too. It was like a fucking
Yeah,
like a
it was just for
pad.
people that
Dude,
wanted
I
a
bought
discount.
that. I bought the 2DS. I'm
Yeah.
like, I never use 3D. I'm just gonna use the 2DS.
No,
It's
no, but like
cheaper and nice.
it didn't like fold up though. It was like it
Yeah,
was
was
just
it
Oh yeah, it's
comfortable
like
to
a brick.
hold?
Yeah, it was like a brick.
that looked uncomfortable as hell.
They
But
made
the
Did you
3DS
like?
was awkward.
They
But
made a
Was it
new
fun to
model
play
of it
with?
actually. They made a Nintendo 2DS XL, and that one has like a flippable screen.
Maybe we should just accept that
so
branding is
we've
not
come full
Nintendo's
circle.
strong suit.
Yep. We just came back to like an upgraded DS at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be
they're never
honest.
gonna do a DS though, like a mobile line or anything like that. This is the
Ah,
mobile line.
yeah, I don't know. When I first saw the 2 on the logo, I thought this looks fake as hell. Like it looked like something someone would try to pass off and like leak on 4chan and just say, "Oh my god, you guys believe this?"
hmm
But I don't know. I guess I don't know. The logo is not. The logo should. I think the logo should be a little more distinct. Putting a 2 in front of the old logo, I think they could have at least stuck the 2 and I don't know,
You
stuck
know,
in the middle or something. I don't know.
what
Are
else would you even
you
call it?
are you just saying like design, like just like
I
two?
don't like I don't like the logo. I feel like slapping the 2 at the end. It just looks kind of lazy.
It looks a little awkward, especially when you look at it on the actual Switch. And just like I forget exactly what it looks like, but it's just like a big two on like the right side of it. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
kind
and I
of
think it's
weird.
kind of weird to combine the logo with the number too. Because if you think of like the PS models, they kind of have like letters and numbers together, and then they have like a unified font, and I think that looks good together. Xbox, they typically make their own kind of like logo for each iteration, don't they? Like you can kind of
I
tell
feel like
like
it's
that.
just text. I don't think it's like anything special. Just like
Does
right.
I thought the Xbox X like kind of had its own different graphic depending on which X. I've never owned an Xbox, so I guess I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, but I don't know. I
Um,
think seeing the logo with just a number slapped in the end, something about it just doesn't look right.
so looking at the Xbox logo, it's literally just Xbox in font, and then it has like a sideways text that says series, and then like an X, and then that's it. It's just like I don't know how to describe it beyond that. It's just like text. Like they always just have the regular Xbox symbol, so it's like the circle with the big, thick X on it. Um, they don't really innovate with their logos much, but I mean, I don't know if they really have to. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. I guess with these ones, they kind of had it like knocked out of the gate. They were just like, okay, we're doing the next one. Logo stays the same. It speaks for itself. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't see this when with Nintendo was known for being a little different, for being unique. This just strikes me as being a little odd.
Yeah. No, it seems like something they wouldn't normally do, but um I think it's fine. I mean, it's the thing is that it's not different enough from the Switch to warrant like a different name, or like a different look to it. I feel like they kind of have to like associate it with the Switch, so making the logo look so similar is probably just like to make sure people know it's pretty much the same kind of console.
I
Um,
think there was a happy medium somewhere in there, but I guess it doesn't matter. They chose what they chose, and people are still excited because 2 charging ports and a kickstand that works.
The
for sure.
kickstand is easily the best feature, but it's like it's not really an exciting innovation. It's just, oh yeah, I need it. We need that.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on here, and I did want to ask you guys specifically about what kind of games you want to see on this console. Obviously, for me, I'm looking most forward to seeing if there's a new Smash Bros on it because it's long overdue, and I want to see what they're gonna do with the next like iteration of that series. But beyond that, what are you guys trying to look forward to? I know Tyler, you like Phoenix Wright. Was that on your list of games you would want to see?
Oh, that was a joke. I mean, that's probably good. I mean, Phoenix Wright games, they go straight to PC and the fucking phones now. Like, I
It's a
mean,
mobile
cool
game.
if we see it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a visual novel. You can play that on anything.
Hmm.
Honestly, if I'm Nintendo right now, I think the freest thing you can do right now, make a sequel to Odyssey. I think, Tears of the Kingdom shows that people
See,
like these sequels, and we have a platformer that functions very well, and I don't feel like it's following the same path as like let's say the new Super Mario part. Like I mean, Jesus Christ, how many of those were there? Like 5, 6, and they were kind of lazy to begin with. They were simple, they worked, they were good basic sellers. But Odyssey, you've got a game that not only reaches a lot of people, but it's fundamentally, from like a mechanical standpoint, very enjoyable. And I think all you need to do is make a new adventure with the same mechanics, maybe a little graphical improvements, maybe some new, like, make some new fun environments. I think that's the freest launch title you can make.
So you're just asking for Mario Galaxy 2,
Well,
pretty
Yeah,
much.
okay,
see, look,
let's
like
back
Mario
up.
Galaxy was kind of the same thing.
Let
We
me ask. I think there's a. It doesn't really feel like 3D Mario games. There should be like a. We should just call them 3D Mario games to me because honestly, 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey kind of feel like all in the same like
Yeah,
series to me.
3D
Like
platformer.
3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like New Super Mario Bros, which is the 2D version of
Yeah,
Mario
that's
that
the yeah.
they add. It's pretty much the same. I mean, Wonder I think was a good step in the right direction. Mario Bros. Wonder,
for sure.
just because he kind of iterated. I have played it. I didn't really like the game that much, to be honest. I just was like annoyed by it at certain points. But I do think that it's a good step for that series because it needed some new innovation. It just kept repeating the same stuff,
Oh, you mean like the isometric Mario platformers,
pretty much.
like World?
Mario World, Super Mario Bros. What's Super Mario's 3, Super Mario Bros. 2? They're all kind of the same. They're just 2D platformer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Odyssey. There has to be some. I want to say like something. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I don't know where they go from Odyssey because I feel like Odyssey kind of like perfected the movement mechanics and the physics of the game.
I
And
guess shake them up, add more like new
I think
theme,
people forget all the little things that
experiment.
made it fun. Like you could take over a fucking Tyrannosaurus, and they had all those little niche little things. Like you could
A
turn
lot
into
of set
2D Mario on
pieces,
the
yeah.
walls. Like I think as long as they make fun environments and they remember the small pieces of it, you're keeping the core. But if you can innovate the small pieces of it, I think you have a real winner right there.
I'm just trying to think of a theme or like a general like gimmick because like usually the 3D platformers kind of have like a gimmick or theme.
mm,
I know that I repeated myself, but
Well,
what I
it's
mean
just
is
like
like
the Switch
Galaxy,
2.
like
It's just like the Switch 2
planets.
itself. We're riding off the coattails of what worked, and we're just making minor little improvements.
Actually,
I
true,
think
they did
Mario
make a
Galaxy 2 did
Galaxy
the same
too.
thing.
They did make a
Yeah.
Galaxy
yeah, we
too,
were saying
yeah.
that
So they could
before.
just
So I mean, it
Did,
pretty much could just be a Galaxy 2 situation where Odyssey
sure, yeah.
just innovates, adds more worlds, just like adds new
yeah.
stuff to it.
And did people like Galaxy 2 better? I thought that was the case, but I've never fully.
I
Actually, it's
think that
mixed.
yeah, I
I've
think
heard like
one is more iconic and people like always talk it up.
two's
But
a refinement, though. People have
yeah,
to
but I
say,
think I
but
think
one has
people
like
do
a
prefer
narrative
one.
element too, and then they like the overworld better than Mario's fucking head.
You know what's weird? Galaxy 2 is kind of detached from 1 in the sense that like I think you don't even know who Rosalina is. I don't even think Rosalina's in
It's
2.
not even a direct sequel, which I think is fucking funny.
Yeah, it's
It's
really weird.
just
That is
I thought
weird.
I thought it was like a thing where it was like a century later, which made no sense to me as a kid, but that's how I like understood it.
There's like a big purple, like fat purple Luma who's in charge of this like little mini planet you're on for like the main menu in Mario Galaxy 2. But in Mario Galaxy 1, it's that big observatory that you walk around
Yeah.
that Rosalina owns. I don't know. It's weird. I don't. 2 is a very strange game, but I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
fun back when I played it.
I haven't played one or two in quite a while, so I'm pretty fuzzy on them.
Hmm.
Sunshine, I'm pretty familiar with even now, just because I played it a lot.
Yeah.
I think actually outside of Mario, like I would like another Odyssey entry, but Metroid Prime needs to come out. That's
That's what
Four,
I'm hearing.
dude,
Yeah.
4 should be a launch title. I don't even know how far along they are in that game, but 4 should be a launch title.
Like Prime
Now,
should be a launch. I think Prime could be one of the games that bring people to Switch 2.
Yeah.
that could be not the casual audience, I don't think, but more of the older
Just
ones.
what I'm saying is they need like a good sampling. Like they had two games, like Breath of the Wild, Odyssey.
Yeah, that's true. I do wonder though. Metroid Prime is the 3D. It says the 3D
That's the
iteration,
first
correct?
person one. Prime is the
First
first person
person,
one.
Yeah.
first person, 3D shooter, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Do
yeah,
you think
first
that
person.
think the ray tracing could maybe be a mechanic there that could be useful,
Ray trace. It's
or
so.
whatever? I'm not using the right term. Whatever, mouse
Oh,
mode.
yeah, mouse mode. I
Ray
honestly, I don't
tracing is
like
like
mouse mode.
graphics, dude. Ray
Yeah,
tracing's
I
like
was
Yeah, I
gonna say
super
that is the
realism.
most ray tracing and Nintendo are not in the same sentence.
I don't
That's
know. I
why
guess
it's
I was
so weird when you
thinking.
say
If you
that.
tried to
Yeah,
ray
I don't
trace your
know.
Switch, it would
I don't know what I
explode.
was thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But like
no,
I
but
was the mouse thing I feel like is more for Splatoon because they actually have Nintendo actually has a mainline shooter now. Splatoon they made 3 of them. It's here
Yeah,
to
but you
stay.
can't just use. It's not like they made it just for Splatoon. You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
use it
no,
somewhere
no.
else.
Yeah.
For
It,
sure.
but that is one of the things it could be used for. Metroid Prime
Do you
gameplay,
guys think
which would
that
be
they're
great.
gonna have an internet browser you can use the mouse for?
Oh, not again.
I hope not. That's
Miiverse, can we
Why
bring that shit
not?
back?
We
I
bring
just
back
why
Meavers.
we do you guys not have phones?
What's wrong with
I,
looking things
here's
up
my
on your
point. Like
Switch? It's like
when
a
maybe when
laptop.
internet was harder to access, like I don't know, it was fun to have internet on a DS as a kid, but like
Oh,
everyone's got a
It's on a Wii
smartphone now.
U.
Even the
Steven, you know what I actually would love?
sure they can throw it in there if they want to. I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah.
I would actually love if this is just kind of a me thing, but I know you played it too. But I wouldn't mind a new Miitopia entry, just like an updated
Miitopia.
with
I don't know
like
if they
some
would ever
deeper
do that.
mechanics. I think there's something there. That game was kind of fun. I
Did
think if
that
they
game
fleshed
have?
out,
Did that game have good numbers? I don't remember.
Probably
it did
not.
kind of okay for a DS game.
It came
but,
out on
like,
Switch.
Oh, you did? Oh yeah, you're right.
I own it. Yeah, I played through it on Switch.
For some reason, was it DS too? Maybe
It was on
just
DS
Switch
too.
Oh yeah,
It was re-released
like,
on Switch.
it's funny because it would pull random like internet memes, so you just get like SpongeBob showing up as like one of the roles or like a king or something.
You
or,
could
like,
select
Snoop Dogg
people
would be
too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you select
so
roles
fun,
and
yeah.
stuff. I think I selected like Eminem to be like the wizard or something. I don't remember.
yeah.
um, so yeah, DP, do you have any games beyond Metroid that you were looking forward to on Switch?
That'd be
Or
one of them. I like even like a Toma or like that one weird DS like me. I like the me games honestly. Like sports is one of them, and like Wii Resort.
okay, so like a
I
Wii
don't know if we're
Resort.
gonna
These
get
are
another
haven't been
sports
like
game.
in for,
You want a
you're
me
right,
game.
no.
You just want a me game. So
Kinda,
That's
they're, like user like created content's like fun because like it's just fun to see like goofy characters show up and
Yeah.
like it's more fun to like imagine Nintendo like devs trying to make a game like seriously, and then you can just throw Snoop Dogg in there or someone.
Yeah, I do think that, being able to put your own little bits of personality in there too, and have
Exactly,
your own
yeah.
little characters. I think that's great for the casual audience too. It's a good draw. But
Mhm.
I don't think I honestly I kind of forgot Nintendo Switch Sports existed. Like I was gonna
Exactly.
say before, I was gonna be like, they should do Nintendo Switch Sports as a launch title. They haven't done that yet, and they did.
Yeah,
yep.
they
Maybe
did.
they biffed it. They biffed it a
It's
little because
not
you can't make Mii's in it. It's like slightly different Mii's, and I honestly
that.
don't know why they.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Oh,
they
it's
did
like
that.
little human-esque characters that aren't me's.
Look, people like the Mii's, man. I don't know why you went out of your way to make it more complicated. Like, at least I think Miitopia hit the sweet spot where it's like, okay, there's so
Miitopia had an insane me creator when they ported it to
Yeah.
the Switch. I'm actually
That's
immersed.
Oh my
that's what
God, I
Switch
forgot
Sports
about
should have
that.
done.
Yeah, no, just bring that over to the Switch too. That's one of the innovations.
Oh yeah.
Just having more Mii's. That's the biggest
Yeah.
selling.
It's kind of funny they just kept
Literally.
with me's.
That
Like
would actually do it, I think.
I feel like they were made with the Wii itself, obviously, because it's MII. It's such a weird thing that they just decided to keep them moving forward and not like
I
rename
know,
them.
yeah.
Well, what are you gonna call it? The Mitch?
The Mitch.
Nintendo.
The Nintendo Mitch.
Yeah, check out all my Mitches.
Well, it still works because it's
Oh,
a
God.
pun because it's me. Like
The
you're
Mitch.
making yourself.
Yeah, I know. It still works. It's kind of a weird thing. It feels like a legacy thing.
I want to say I would love a follow up to a Wii Sports Resort, but that's such a one time, like never again, lightning in a bottle game.
Yeah, I have seen people talking about wanting a Ring Fit adventure too, though.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
got a niche. That's
Yeah.
actually the fit board
A
though.
little.
That's the fitness board like fans. That's where they migrated to.
The
Yeah.
Wii balance board.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of other sequels, I don't see a new Animal Crossing happening. I just don't think it can pull the same people again. And I think the people that sold their Switches the first time are probably not likely to come back.
Animal
Really?
Crossing works.
I don't
when there's a
agree with that.
hunger for it.
I think
Now
that
you
there's
think
going to
people are
be a
crazy
new
enough?
one, and I do think they're going to go rabid over whatever it is. It's been a while
That's true.
since Horizons came out, so I feel like that there's a
Exactly.
hunger for it.
Yep. You need to wait. Now it got a rep because of that little spur when people like love the game.
Over COVID,
Wow, it's
yeah.
almost 5 years old.
It's pretty, yeah.
Exactly.
It's overdue for something, I feel like. I mean, the jump from New Leaf to New Horizons was pretty big from what I understand. Like, people were asking for one for a long time before New Horizons came out. And all they got was like Pocket Camp or something like that on the phone. And the card one on the Wii U. There's like a card game one.
I feel so bad for anyone that had their hopes up for the card game.
There's like Animal Crossing Parade or something. I don't even know what that one was called.
It was
so
Amiibo
weird.
Parade, wasn't it? It was a scam.
Oh, well, yeah, I
Amiibos.
literally had Amiibo in it, too, so you just know it was over.
Oh, bad.
That's so weird. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I do think, though...
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
Move on.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know you want a new Smash game. I just don't know if it's in the cards. I'll be honest. It's kind of at the point where I'm asking myself, what more can we do at this point? We have 82
Ported.
characters, and we're probably...
Oh, it already is ported, yeah.
Yeah, it's backwards compatibility, so technically...
Right, yep.
I mean, they could even do more DLC, and I'd be like, sure, whatever, but... Mechanically speaking, I mean, Ultimate Sound, I don't know what more you can do with the game, and we're probably never going to get a roster this big again. But we're probably not going to get the full... we're probably not going to get the full roster back again. I don't think the engine was ever really doing that bad.
Here's what I think. Basically, if they add another single player or they add another DLC pack.
You know what? If there was an actual true life story mode with cutscenes that had every character,
cutscenes are the key to this.
And maybe just like throw Jigglypuff and Toon Link in a fucking box again.
Yeah,
that's kind of a dick move, by the way. But like, if they did that, if we had an actually fleshed out story with full cutscenes, I would actually pay money for that.
I mean,
I'm telling you now,
that happened.
There's gonna be a new Super Smash Bros. Brand new, not Ultimate. It's gonna come out for Switch 2. I'm telling you now. They're not gonna keep the Switch. I mean, it's already back. It's backwards compatible. They're not gonna update an old game. I think they're just gonna straight up release a new one.
Yeah, they would never make like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or anything.
But it's not backwards compatible, right?
Well, I
Mario
guess
Kart came out on the Wii U. It wasn't compatible. It's not compatible with Switch, so that's why they released Deluxe. But this is a different case where Smash is already backwards compatible. So, and I don't think they're gonna update an old game. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that. So I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna release a new Smash game. I don't know what it's gonna be. I mean, I know some people say hit the reset button, go back to the original cast, and make them way more in-depth movesets and like polish more stuff.
And then like story mode.
But, like,
we're getting Melee HD, baby.
I just don't think people are gonna want that. Like, people are just gonna be mad that there's not enough characters. That's what's gonna happen. It's just gonna be. It's just at a really weird spot in the game's like life. The series' lifeline because
what happens when you go for the sun, I guess.
Yeah, you got to the top, and that's what I think. I'm just not sure what more you can do besides have an actual story.
But there's one thing that speaks louder than that, and it's money. And that's going to be the deciding factor in this.
It's literally just character packs. It would be my bet. More character packs.
I think more character packs is my bet too. But hey, I'm hoping you're right, buddy.
I hope so too. I really hope so.
Would you be disappointed and angry by that, or would you be glad?
I would be fine with that. I don't care. I love Ultimate. I'd be fine with having more characters, and I just feel like a lot of the really big characters that are being taken, like I feel like there's only a handful that are, I'd say, aren't, like Halo, like Master Chief. It's one, a big one.
That doesn't even feel like a real one. Yet again, Steve got in, so
we still only have one Sonic character.
Steve was kind of insane. When
there's a couple like that, Tyler. Yeah, like Sonic could add more characters.
Phoenix Wright, everyone wants him. No one
feels
doesn't
like just
want
like
him.
the leftovers. Like but I mean there are some, like Crash Bandicoot. I think is a good pick too for a character they could add if that happened. I mean there are ways you could go. It's just I feel like a lot of the big ones got taken in Ultimate now. Like Banjo was a huge one for the community. Sephiroth is huge. Who else was added in those DLC packs? I mean, Minecraft Steve is pretty big. I mean, you can go with indie characters. I think Cuphead and stuff like that could maybe get in, but
the Geno community is still not satisfied.
Hey, they had a new game in Switch.
Just thought of something. What if they try and
Never mind.
What if the goal is to make a different type of crossover game that's not a fighting one?
This is what Mario Kart 9 is going to be.
This leads right into our discussion about Mario Kart 9. What do you guys think about the reveal of Mario Kart 9?
Honestly, a little underwhelmed. I will say 24-player racing might be fun. I say
Well,
might because you look at how people play Mario Kart 8 right now and how like sandbagging is such a big thing. I think that 24 players might amplify that issue a little bit. I like it as a concept. I do need to see how it plays out a little more before I'm in love with the idea.
mm-hmm. What do you think, DP? Any comments
I'm
on
not
it?
crazy about Mario Kart. I'm not the biggest fan ever. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it from time to time. So I'm pretty indifferent about announcements about it, unfortunately. I will say big changes like 24 player races does intrigue me. So perhaps that'll catch my eye when it comes out and I see a little bit more of it. But
Mm-hmm.
in the meantime, I'm pretty neutral on it, unfortunately.
What do you guys think about the rumor going around that it's going to be an open world game?
Now that's what I like. Big change ups like that would probably draw me in because currently I just don't have a lot of interest. On the other hand, though, I don't think that'd lead to a good game. It would just it would just make me look at it a little more. Like I'd look at some gameplay and like follow it just to make heads or tails of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like such an interesting concept to me because technically, my Burnout Paradise was one of my favorite games, and that
That
was
could
an
be
open,
cool though, like
technically an
Burnout
open world racing game. Yeah,
or
it
like
was.
even Simpsons Hit and
Oh,
Run.
Hit and Run. Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
a bad
like that
analogy
for Mario
either.
Kart would be kind of insane.
Yeah, I guess I just can't. In Simpsons Hit and Run, did they have like collectibles you'd have around the map to
Yes.
go and get? Okay,
Yes.
I guess if
They had
Mario Kart did
ramps and
something
stuff,
like that, yeah, because
shortcuts.
I
It
did
was
like
kind of cool. Like
yeah.
the big open world was actually just one giant racetrack that went in a loop.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I will say I don't know. It's interesting though because like Hit and Run took place in Springfield, Burnout Paradise took place in Paradise City. I don't know what big environment like Mario could put it in where it doesn't like.
Delfino Plaza,
They could
I
just
guess maybe
make their
you know
own.
what? Actually, now that you're saying it, if you sandwiched a bunch of
Mushroom
iconic
Kingdom.
Mario
Yeah,
places, like if
literally,
you put
yeah.
in, like
They got a lot to work with too.
yeah, I suppose if you could make them all mesh together in a way that felt okay, maybe that'd be fun. If you've got collectibles around the map to explore, maybe that could be fun.
Yeah,
Dude,
with like,
I just
and
had a
it's
crazy
Mario, so
idea.
there's like fun like platforming things to do
Crazy
and
idea.
cool ramps and like Hot Wheels ass like tracks and stuff and like Toad's Highway is real and it's like it goes to the castle.
I just had a crazy idea. Okay, I have two
Yeah.
Yeah.
ideas actually. My first idea is this. What if we're talking about Mario Odyssey? What if the next step for the 3D Mario is Mario Kart combined with Mario Odyssey, where you like it's a 3D platformer, but it also like combines with like driving mechanics and racing and stuff.
That was
Are you
already an
talking
Odyssey
about like
though.
this sounds like it's becoming like a pipeline towards Grand Theft Auto where you just knock Goombas out of cars and steal them and run
Yeah,
around.
you just kind of
You
want to like
kind
Dunk
of,
City to
kind of
Dunk
actually.
City.
Yeah, you
You've
just
invented
drive
Grand
around.
Theft Auto for 8-year-olds. You might
Well,
actually
it's
be a
also like
genius. That might
3D
work.
platforming too, and there's different maps you can drive on and different worlds you can drive in. I don't know. This is a funny idea I thought of when you're saying that like you can get out of your car or whatever. I don't
Do
know.
you mean like I kind of like that in a hub? Like I think because like Delfino Plaza is an amazing hub, but
Mm-hmm.
and I think like interactables like that could be a lot of fun. Or like if you could like hijack somebody's boat in Delfino Plaza and take it where you wanted to go. Like if they made a new game where like I think like hubs are a cool idea. I think they should keep that up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that Odyssey kind of worked. Like each level was just a giant hub, and you basically just dug around for
Just
moons.
wander around, yeah.
It's not
Um,
sectioned off like 64 was.
my other idea was what if they did like a. I think this is a very more natural progression for the series, but like making your own tracks. I don't know if any Mario Kart's done that before.
That actually, I mean, Mario Maker,
No,
yeah, like
nobody's done it yet. I do think it's a little tougher in
Mario
3D.
Maker.
I do think I
it's
do
gonna be
think that would be
limiting
a.
too.
It would probably be. I feel like that's the thing, though. I feel like if they announced it, it would be everyone's very impressed at first, but when they get the final product, it leads to disappointment because it just can't possibly live up to their expectations.
The genius of Mario Maker is 2D Mario is pretty simple. So
Yeah.
like it breeds innovation, and like you can do a lot more than you initially thought you could because you wrote
Mm-hmm.
it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I would like a track builder, to be honest, I just don't think it's feasible to give people the degree of freedom they need. It's just something that cannot happen on a like official release. Like You look at all the custom tracks that were made for like the Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart 8. There's just way it would be way too complex for the Mario Kart audience. I just don't think you can really win.
Mm-hmm. So, to move on a little bit, so there's a lot of characters in this game that seem to have gotten redesigns. Not really redesigns, but like they're using the movie version of Donkey Kong, and they're using the Mario Wonder version of Super Mario and Luigi. Um, what are your guys' opinions on that? Do you think it's like not a direction you're happy with? Would you rather them use the classic designs, or do you kind of like the change up a little bit with the characters? And what kind of characters do you guys want to see added to this? I know we talked earlier about, or we just mentioned earlier at least, about crossover characters. I mean, they had Link in what, Animal Crossing in the last Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe they had him in.
That's true.
I don't know what other crossover characters they had in that. I think that was it. But well, they had
Pretty
like
much
Mii
just
costumes, I think, of like Smash characters. But like, what do you guys think about how the characters are working in this game?
Hmm.
Any thoughts?
I thought you were gonna go first. I'm gonna be honest.
I'll go first. I'll just say about the DK situation. Yeah, Nintendo sells out. It's what they do. I mean, they've
What's that
always kind
mean?
of. I was just saying, like, they always kind of appeal to whatever project they got going on the side. Case in point, back in the day with Brawl, they used the Zelda from what's it called,
Twilight Princess. Yep.
Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild Zelda, and
Mm.
the current Smash.
Yeah,
I
we
guess I didn't think
Smash
about it
Ultimate
that
has
way.
Cappy in it too, and yeah,
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it did jump back a little. Didn't it go back to like Melee Ganondorf? But I guess you could say that's appealing to a certain niche audience or something.
he
Yeah.
needed an update, so yeah.
Has for like who to add? I guess maybe Mario RPG characters, but like they're kind of in their own universe, and I don't like the idea of touching them anywhere else. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
Gino drives up in a car.
You know, I kind of like. You know, I kind of wanted. I was gonna go on a whole like ramble about Mario RPG because there's like three different versions. There's like Paper Mario, and then there's Super Mario and Luigi, and then there's Mario RPG.
I'm
Yeah, there
picturing
is.
you as Charlie Day in front of the fucking board right now with the goddamn like paper
The
trail.
Mario RPG web.
Yeah, because literally, I was gonna go like, there's a whole other world with like subgenres in the Mario RPG. Like, just saying that.
It's funny you say that. I actually seen people online saying you need to add this character from Super Mario, or what's that one called? Just Mario and Luigi, I guess,
Is
like
it
Partners in
Fawful?
Yeah,
Time
the
and stuff like yeah, like
Brothership or something.
yeah, or that too. Like
Brotherhood.
I'm just saying that that series. I don't know what the actual name. I think it's just called Mario and Luigi. But it has
Yeah,
like
just Mario Luigi.
yeah, that green character with the glasses. I don't remember their names.
Fawful. Yeah,
Fawful. Yeah,
But-
like
I'd be
people
down
want
with
those
Fawful.
characters in the game. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they would do that.
I would actually be down for more RPG entries in a Switch. I mean, they've been keeping up with them though. They had a new Paper Mario, and they had another Mario and Luigi thing too. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, no complaints. And they everybody was pretty happy about the RPG remake.
Yeah, from what I've
for the
heard, yeah.
Switch.
Tyler, what do you think for characters?
I'll start off with DK's redesign. I don't know if I love it, not because of the design change itself, but just I think it kind of represents a need to distinct itself from Mario Kart 8, which I think if you need to change the character designs to do that, I think you're kind of scrambling for ideas there. Now, if they do the open world thing, yeah, that's a good step. But my big worry is like we've done so many innovative things already. You know, we've gone underwater, we've got anti gravity. I don't think Mario Kart 9 really has a good way to like take that next step. Like I don't know if there's anything necessarily you can implement there that's like the new fresh element that the other ones had
See,
outside of
that's
doing like a whole new game mode.
that's what I'm saying about the open world. I think that's the step, and it's
I-
a
if
weird
that's what they're
step,
doing,
but I don't
yeah,
know.
but I just that just sounds like an unsubstantiated rumor, and I
Mhm.
really hope that rumor about the pit stop is false because I cannot think of anything less fun in Mario Kart than forcing you to stop, slow down, and stop, because that's what the items do, and everyone hates getting hit by an item. That's the love hate there. No one wants
Yeah.
to purposely slow down and have to like refuel. if you're gonna make it a cart switching mechanic, make it a button or an item on the map or something. Keep the pace of the game going and allow you to make that switch. Don't slow down the pace for the sake of just doing something different.
Yeah, for anyone who's wondering, there's a rumor I showed Tyler earlier. There's a there's somebody said that in Mario Kart 9 there's going to be pit stops and the players
I
could
just don't believe it.
refuel their carts with gas, I guess. And you can change your tires during races. I don't know how any of this would actually translate besides maybe the tires. I could see that being like a button toggle or something. I don't know. I don't know. Pit stop doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how that would work, but it sounds like a complete like fake rumor to be honest. I don't see that being real. I just thought it was
Yeah.
kind of a funny thing I saw online.
You know,
Um,
I could see like the open world thing working kind of like how Street Fighter 6 does it, where it's just a hub. Like you drive around to access different game modes, like different races, battle mode, and stuff.
Yeah, I could totally see it as being like just an area you drive, like a city you drive around, and you can like find levels or like races and challenges and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know how else it could really work, to be honest. What do you think about crossover characters, Tyler?
You know what? At this point, if we have Link in Animal Crossing, why don't you just bring over whoever the hell you want to? I'll
I
be
feel like
honest.
that seal's broken. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I honestly feel like we're past the point of no return. Why don't you put someone funny in? I could not think of anything funnier than when I was playing Sonic and all Sega All Star Racing, and I just look up, I see fucking Danica Patrick, fucking a real life fucking driver, just in the game for some reason. Then you've got like TF2 and that shit. People love that.
They had
They have
YouTubers too,
football
you know,
manager or
like-
something like that.
They have Football Manager. You
Yeah.
said they have a YouTuber in the game.
Yeah, they had Yogscast, I think. Sonic Racing, like a
What?
DLC.
Okay,
You
maybe
serious?
that's where I draw the line. But
They had a Shenmue. I like how they had Shenmue, and he had like the forklift as his car.
yeah, see,
What?
it's stuff like that. I think honestly, goofy stuff like that. I think Mario Kart could do no wrong by being goofy. The reason
Yeah.
I think Sonic All Star Racing was just doomed to fail from the start because it is just no kart racer is ever going to dethrone Mario Kart. Let's be real. It's not going to happen. It is the kart racing game.
Did
So
you
I
guys
think as
see?
long as you
Sorry. Did you see that Sonic All Stars Racing announced a new entry? And
I
that
did
was like
not.
that was last month, and now everyone's making fun of it. They're like, "Yeah, that's dead on arrival."
Yeah, a little sad, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's another kart racer that can compete. So you know what? If you can grab people's attention to the new thing by saying, "Hey, we've got all these crazy characters," why not do it? Why not go for it? And honestly, he's been in the arcade games long enough. Throw in the Pac-Man characters.
That's for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, they've been there a while. And I think people forget a lot. Rob was in the DS version of Mario Kart.
Oh yeah,
I
he
don't know
was.
why he was there.
There's also the
but I would-
Honeybee Queen from Mario Galaxy. That was a
at least
weird
I
pick.
think that was a weird pick. But Rob wasn't even like a Mario character. That was like a toy accessory. And was that
Yeah.
before or after he was added in Brawl? I think
I
that was
have
before.
no idea. I honestly
It
don't
was
know.
after.
I have no
I'm
idea.
not sure.
Um,
Yeah, but
mhm.
I think the seal's been broken long enough. I mean, I'm not saying go full throttle and throw in Snake before you throw in someone that's more fitting for the Mario Kart setting, but actually, maybe I take that back. Snake would be funny as hell to play as in Mario Kart,
Yeah,
but
like who wouldn't you throw in? Like, what would be no go?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe just not third party at this.
I think there's
that goes
some
against what
weird
I just said, but
characters.
I did
I
say
think-
RPG, but I just more meant that as like a general rule.
I would
of thumb.
say stick to first party for now. Maybe characters that have a tight history with Nintendo, like Rob and Pac-Man. I'd say draw the line at things like I don't know Snake or Steve or
I don't see like
that's where I would
Fire
personally
Emblem.
draw the line.
Like I don't see like a Fire Emblem being in the game, but I see obviously
I think-
Splatoon's already in. I mean, Animal Crossing's
Yeah.
in, Link's in. You could easily put something like Captain Falcon, 100%.
Well, Captain Falcon would make total sense. He
Yeah.
comes from a racing game. and
Kirby.
We're never getting him.
Kirby could get in
Yeah,
too.
Kirby. Yeah, those characters seem to fit a little better. I would say Fire Emblem, the characters have a little more realistic proportions. I mean, Captain Falcon's a little bit of that too, but at least he comes from a racing game, so he has that going for him.
Mhm.
Fire Emblem characters, they ride horses and stuff. I don't think any of the games have cars, but I don't know enough about Fire Emblem to disprove it.
I don't think so. I was just
I
saying
don't
more
know,
so how they
man.
look. I think it would just look too jarring to have like a Fire Emblem anime character in the game. The closest
Maybe,
you have
but
is Link, but
I was
Link's
gonna
got a
say Link's
cartoony look to him, so I don't know.
a little. I would agree with you more if it was Toon Link, but Link kind of has similar proportions and honestly kind of fits the same trope. He's in a medieval-ish setting
I
and he's a
guess.
swordsman. I guess they technically had that motorcycle thing, but I thought that was jarring when they added that to Breath of the Wild as well. So
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild is science fantasy, and it's its own little sub-universe.
Yeah, that's for sure. My last question for today I want to talk to you guys about. Uh, Nintendo Direct's coming April 2nd for the Switch 2. Um, do you guys have just things you want to see from this? For me personally, I'm hoping they show off the UI. There was a picture floating around of the UI that I saw that I thought it looked pretty good. It was pretty basic still. The original Switch had a pretty basic UI that wasn't very customizable, which was a big thing that I wanted to see in the Switch 2 UI. And it looks somewhat decent from what I'm seeing. I need to see more if this is even true. I'm not even 100% sure this is real. But I'm hoping for a more customizable UI. Really, the only thing you could do in the old Switch was the profile pictures. I'm hoping for some like themes for like how it looks, just like different colors of the screen instead of just white. You know, I
Mhm.
also kind of want to see the Switch in different colors, like or the Switch 2 in different colors. Right now, we've only seen it in the one color, the gray, dark gray, blackish color. Um, and I kind of want to see maybe more traditional, like blue and red, like the original Switch, just to see what it looks like. I don't know if it'd be good or not, but I just want to see some different colors of it. And
I
I do
think I
want to
can
see
put your
more
fears to
games.
rest and say that I think there's going to be new colors coming
Well, I know
out.
there's going to be. I'm hoping for the at the direct they show off some new ones. I just want to
Fair
see
enough.
what they got, and I'm hoping to see something other than Mario Kart 9, a new game, hopefully.
Mhm.
I think all I want is just some game reveals, something to look forward to, a reason to justify upgrading to a Switch 2.
Okay,
I think I have to disagree with you there. I don't want to see any game reveals.
none
You
at
know what?
all.
You're right. I just wanna buy it and use
I
it.
don't want. I just want it for the internet browser, man.
Hey,
Actually,
that
no.
could
You
be
know
good.
what? It is a good replacement because it has that backstand.
Dylan, what would you
Yeah, that's
do
fair.
if you saw Elden Ring show up on the first screen?
I'd be like, oh my god, I already own that game.
It's going to melt the Switch.
Yeah, it's gonna
That's
run
probably
even worse.
true.
Would you like to play Elden Ring on a PS4 Pro?
Uh-oh. Guess
Like,
what? Night Rain. Wait, is that the name of the new one? Night Rain, exclusive on Switch 2. Uh-oh.
that would be hysterical.
Would you
That'd be so,
buy?
how would they? How would that work? How would it be an exclusive?
They
Like the
take it away from all
licensing
the
and
other
the
consoles.
legal headache alone.
What's wrong with that licensing? It's a new game, isn't it?
Sony's got their grips on FromSoft these days.
Oh, really? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's true with Bloodborne.
Mm.
hmm
Tyler,
They're
what do
actually
you?
like
Oh,
unrelated to everything we were talking about, but they were talking about acquiring them too.
hmm. Well, that would not be fun. I want it on
Yeah.
PC. Tyler,
I do.
what do you think?
I do think you had a good point about the UI. I do think the Switch's UI it lacks personality. It wasn't atrocious. It wasn't like
Very
Windows 8. It
utilitarian.
wasn't Windows 8 bad. It was functional, but it was really boring. I honestly think a nice part about the Wii was that the Wii's menu was functional but very personalized. Like it had its own menu music. It had its own little screens with all the little TV channels, nice little sounds to go with it. I think you've got these flat backgrounds, no background music. It felt very unlike Nintendo, honestly, to just have something so bland as the
Yeah,
background. So I do think customizable backgrounds would be nice. I think there should be a default menu music. Maybe you can get music associated with the themes that you get with your games or something. I don't
yeah, that
know.
would be cool.
Have
I
a
didn't
little
even think about
Metroid
that.
music playing in the background with your Metroid menu or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also did like that they were using like the tall rectangular titles rather than the squares. I think that'd make it a little easier to flip through. I think that'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as for what I'd like to see, I mean, if they're gonna make a new Switch version, I'd like to see. I always love the little customizable control, or like the limited edition controllers for the games and stuff. I have the everyone loved the Wii U. I've got the special edition Wii U with the Wind Waker, black with all the little gold symbols on it and the 3-pound gamepad.
Yeah.
And say what you will about the console, at least that design for it looked nice. If they were gonna do a special edition for a new game, I think if they made a special edition for the new ZA game coming out, like with some Zygarde colors on there, use some green and black, I think that could look really sharp.
Yeah.
I think it's covered. It's like a Pokemon that has like a bunch of hexagons. Lean into that. I think you can make something really cool with that.
I've seen a lot of concept art for that too online that looked really nice.
I think that's pretty free. Also, not something I expect or I don't think most people would want, but I have seen concepts for wooden Joy-Cons before, just having like a wood pattern. Not that they should actually be made out of wood.
You can buy those custom. You can buy those custom online.
Yeah, it would be cool if they actually did it. I don't think they would, but
Probably
I think
not.
it looks kind of slick. As for games, I think ZA is a must at this point. We've been waiting long enough. Please just give us a little more.
Dude,
just a little
they're
more.
gonna reveal that this next month. Pokemon Day, I guarantee it.
Pokemon Day comes
It's coming
first?
up in February. Yeah,
Okay,
they're gonna
fair
reveal it,
enough.
I'm sure. I was hoping to actually do an episode, maybe talk to Joe about that, doing an episode talking about that, but we'll see. Do you guys have any final thoughts about the Switch 2? Are you looking forward to it? Are you gonna buy it? Are you still waiting to see what it has to offer then?
I'm hoping that
Oh, sorry. You go on.
keep doing that. I'm hoping that all my friends buy it so I can just try theirs. That's my hope.
Dylan?
Similar to that, I'm waiting for a game to show up that justifies me considering it.
And that's going to be Elden Ring, Night Rain, coming out exclusively to Switch.
Elden Ring 2, the real sequel.
Switch it up. That's what it's called. Elden Ring, switch it up.
Switch it up. No, it's gonna be like Link to the Past or like that Link Between Worlds thing.
The Elden Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to listen to this episode. I'm planning on having an episode in the coming weeks, but I'm going to be gone for the next recording session, so it'll probably be a little bit until that one comes out. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you later. Say goodbye, guys.
See ya.
Goodbye.